how long to beat website puts Abyssus at roughly around 4 hours. That felt to me a bit unrealistic. Just 4 hours to reach the first boss, 4 hours to reach the second one, or 4 hours to reach depth 30, or whatever is the last depth, which I find it unrealistic. We played it for about 8 hours, double from what the website says. And it took us 3 hours to defeat the first main boss at level 4, and then kept grinding without not much fun for another 5 hours, give or take, until we uninstalled. In 8 hours, which was divided in 2 days, the first day 3 hours and the second day 5 hours, we got to see depth 6, which I call it level 6, never unlocked in 8 hours of gameplay, not one single gun, only unlocked 2 attachments for the first gun and a little bit of extra damage from the character progression screen and some extra HP with 12% weapon damage, which 12% is not that much. Minor, small, very small improvements. In 8 hours, we did not lock any cosmetics, no new ability because new abilities come with new weapons. We got to see a total of 8 different enemies. Only about 4 of them were unique, the rest of them were based on the first 4 and a total of 3 main levels. The rest of the levels are randomly generated based on the original levels. Also, in 8 hours, I believe I've encountered between 4 and 5 game crashes, which is not a lot, but there is, keep in mind, and it does slow progression down. Progression that it's already very tedious and slow as it is. You can only play as one single character, person in a Bioshock diving underwater suit. From the main base, you get to enter the first depth, which is the first cave, and progress downwards into the depths. Also, from the main base, if you're trying to unlock cosmetics or, more importantly, weapons, you need to perform challenges. There are a total of 8 weapons, each weapon with a main and secondary firing mode, plus one single ability. The only ability for the first weapon is not actually an ability, like a magic trick, fire, ice, or some sort of teleportation. No, it's a grenade. Grenade that has a refill time, and you can just keep spawning that after a couple of seconds. You get one single HP flask with the opportunity to upgrade that using your soul stones, some soul green stones that you can get from defeating the boss, or maybe very unlikely randomly from the chests or loot boxes. Loot boxes, just like the levels, are randomly generated around. Most likely, you're probably going to get gold, not soul stones. Which leaves you to the first part, where you constantly need to farm the first boss. Why the first boss? Well, because you can't get to the second one. The challenges to unlock everything in this game are very difficult. The reason for that is damage, simply put. It's not like you can't aim. I guess your aim could be decent. I know my aim is decent. Is that you simply don't do enough damage. And because you're having difficulty shooting those spongy enemies, the room gets full very, very fast and you get overwhelmed, producing multiple knocks or deaths. Without getting into detail, I saw, one of those famous YouTube channels with gameplays. If you search Abyssus gameplay, the first videos that come up, yeah, if you watch those videos, you will see definitely that the person who is playing is not doing it with a level 1 character. Once your character progresses, which takes hours and hours, sure, you get to be a bit stronger. But at first, not so much. In fact, at first, it's not very fun. Gameplay wise, well, you enter each depth that has a style of arena, Doom style arena, if you like, where you are getting shot from above, below, depending on your position, and 360 degrees. Basically, you're getting shot from everywhere. Unlike the most recent launch on Steam, Dead Zone Rogue, that also exited early access and now it's actually full release, where you are on a ship with corridors where you can strategically choose your fight or how to fight. Here, the only strategy is run around like a crazy person because everything is trying to kill you and you are literally getting your ass shot from every direction. It won't be that bad if when you are shooting you can actually kill the enemies, but because you don't do enough damage and they eat the bullets like a sponge, you are getting overwhelmed constantly. If your co-op friends get knocked, you get to revive them. The game punishes you for every single time you get knocked. Each revive takes a couple of more seconds more. And when you do get revived, you revive yourself with less HP. Let me put it this way. After about the 5th revive, you'll probably get up with 15 HP, which is almost nothing, close to death. And it takes about 20 to 25 seconds for the revive. You don't have 25 seconds for a revive when you are getting chased by the entire room of enemies. I understand that the game forces you to get good instead of getting knocked, but unlike Call of Duty Zombies, where you can just hit the revive button, here this punishing method added to the frustration, which was already on top of the very slow progression, which was already on top of the fact that the game crashes and you need to start all over, which was already on top of the fact that the enemies in the rooms kind of look all the same. Honestly, I expect the game to hook me like from the first minutes, and then 1 hour, 2 hours go by without me actually thinking about it. I need to get lost in a video game because there's a lot to do. There's some progression and it makes me feel good and it makes me want to play more. This was the opposite. And I haven't felt something like this in, I believe, years. Most video games are smart. They hook you and then the progression may get slow like after 4, 5, 6 hours and it gets grindy. Some video games can sort of compensate for that, but they hook you. That's exactly what games on Android phones do and on PC. This one simply doesn't hook you. I saw it coming. We were 1 hour in. It was impossible for us to make not much progression. And I understood when I was looking at the challenges, which required me to kill several bad guys with one grenade, do multiple kills, chain kills, unlock levels that were very far away from us, defeat bosses that were very far away in the story. I understood that the challenges in the unlocks would be very hard. Like it takes about 20 to 30 minutes if you are an experienced gamer to take a look at exactly what's happening and to realize it's grindy. It's grindy, it's slow, and it's gonna take a while. It reminded me of very early 2000s MMORPGs. It reminded me of Lineage 2. It reminded me of Silk Road. It reminded me of Moo Online. Nowadays, MMORPGs have pretty slow progression, but immediately out of the box in the first hour, they're hooking you or all sorts of fast stuff, cool weapons, mounts. They're giving you reasons to stick around. And by the time you play it for many hours, then you realize the progression gets slow. And then it's like that got you moment. Abyssus doesn't have you a got you moment because after the first 30 to 1 hour, you realize there's no I got you. You're in it for the farming. You're in it for the grind. It's straight up, it's in your face, and it's here to stay. And then as you're grinding and farming, which was not fun at all, the game crashes. Tedious, very slow progression, a couple of bugs, constant frustration, moments when even the random generation of the map was not cool. Like I felt like there was an AI randomly generating the whole thing because loot boxes were getting spawned in the water. Loot boxes have like a blue thingy on the map that shows you that there's a loot box there. There was this one time when it spawned right underwater. You're not allowed to fall into the water. You take damage, and then the game spawns you back up. The game randomly generated a loot box underwater. That's just a minor bug, but it adds up to the minuses to the point where you don't see the pluses, you just see the negative. Honestly, because we recently played it and we've been playing it ever since it was in early access on Epic Store and now it just got released on Steam, full release, I can warmly recommend you Dead Zone Rogue. We are kind of like a sucker for shooting co-op games. Anything that says co-op, we look it up on Steam, and if it has co-op and shooting, we'll probably play it. And Dead Zone Rogue, and including this one, were kind of like launched at the same time and kind of got released out of, full completion at the same time. But Dead Zone Rogue is miles ahead of this one. It was made for gamers, where Abyssus feels to me like it's made for grinders.